Hi, I'm Stephanie Prescott.
I'm Steve Prescott.
And we're live today from REMAX Capitol Properties in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And we're here, it's another rainy day.
It just keeps raining. Rain.
I'm like, where do we live? It's been raining and it'll be beautiful in a couple weeks.
Yeah, if you can get the chance to mow your lawn or mow your grass. So I'm having a struggle with that right now. But.
If the sun comes out and there's a little bit of wind and the grass dries, hurry up and get your lawn mowed because it's going to start to rain again.
Right.
The good news is the robins are eating worms like crazy in the yard. I've been watching that each day. And all the flowers are blooming, the trees. They're amazing. I think it's causing a lot of allergies around Cheyenne, though. People have been saying that their allergies are going crazy. So anyway, I love it. I love the springtime, but I love the summer weather that we can look forward to.
Yeah.
So again, we're live today at REMAX Capitol Properties and going to talk about Cheyenne real estate and what's going on in the market.
Yes.
And what are you seeing? There's been a lot of activity, it feels like. The parking lot's full.
Very busy.
People are really active and making some moves. So what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, like you said, it's been a very active market. I'd say our spring, early summer market is in full swing. We've had a lot of folks that they know they have a really nice home and they are ready to put it in the market, and they have put it in the market, and we have a lot of buyers that know a lot of the best inventory comes on the market at this time.
Right.
So they have been jumping on a lot of these listings, and we have a lot of like little micro markets going on. And I would say that we have the $300,000 to $450,000 range is extremely active. We've seen multiple offers in that. Some of the in-town things that are higher price point have been lagging a little bit. So the in-town 600 plus has been a little slow. Some of the out-of-town rural $1 million has been kind of active, which is crazy. So it's just these little micro markets within our market. It's still a little unpredictable. Rates haven't been too much of a factor right now. I think everyone's slowly just had to settle knowing that rates are what they are, and we don't really have an idea of when those are going to drop or if they are. So I'm not really planning on that or telling anyone to wait, because it's just the longer you wait in our market, the longer the prices just continually kind of inch up, which is good and bad. Good for sellers, bad for buyers when they're trying to get the biggest bang for their buck in buying. And we have a lot of people that do move here saying, it's expensive here. Real estate's expensive. And we were just looking at some real estate in Aberdeen, South Dakota. And a lot of those homes, so the home that we were looking at there may be around $250,000. Here, it would probably be $400,000. Same house, same year built. It was kind of a 1950s home with it's a 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage. It may even be a little over $400,000. So it is interesting to see the different areas and what they cost. But overall, we're doing really well. We have about 320 homes on the market. We have about 320 homes under contract, and we have about a 2-month to 3-month supply of homes. So overall, I would consider it stable.
Yeah, good. I know we have some really fun listings going on right now too. I'm thinking of Rebecca Hess's Barno Mansion that she has listed. You have a beautiful home on Jessica Drive.
Jessica Drive.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, Jessica Drive. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Western Hills North. There's a lot of kind of one-off, real cool houses available, and that one's available. And so we're just pushing to get some activity and some showings on it. So
Christine's got Ladue. And anyway, those are just some that are coming to my mind that I've either seen videos on or I've had the pleasure to be in. And so a lot of fun listings that are out there right now, and a lot of them are moving, and I've heard of escalation clauses and some of that. So I liked your comment of micro markets within the whole market.
Right.
And so it's exciting to see that people are making moves still. What about that interest rate though? You said people have settled on it, but it's still the average it's been over, I don't know how many years, but 6-7%. What is it today?
Yeah, it's still around 6%. So it's about average. If we look at it, it's just we get so used to those lower rates for many years, and that was a real pleasure to deal with those interest rates.
Right.
Really, really cheap money. But now it's back to average cost of money.
Yeah, like a big old lottery win we had for a couple of years there with printing the money. But anyway, so you're seeing that things are moving. You have a beautiful listing, speaking of beautiful listing, on Capitol Avenue.
Yeah, right north of the Capitol. I mean, you can see the Capitol at night, all glowing. It's just gorgeous. It's a turn-of-the-century home, very original, very charming. And there's just a lot of great options out there right now for buyers.
Different land options are coming up. I just saw Brent Levitt, and he listed one up by Glendo, and so all kinds of fun things that are going on in Wyoming real estate all around. A friend of ours wrote last night and said that she and her husband are going to start looking for a place in Star Valley, Wyoming, which is where my cousin lives. So things are just moving in Wyoming. It's really interesting to see how that is going, and I like to know what's going on with the listings in the market and the interest rate. So again, we're live at REMAX Capitol Properties. If you have a comment or you have a question about what's happening in the market, please put a comment and we'll get it answered for you. But this weekend in Cheyenne will be the high school graduations.
Yeah, giddy up.
We had state track last weekend, state soccer, probably other stuff, but it's hard enough to stay on top of what your own family's doing. Baseball, I think, is in full swing, and softball for girls. And so anyway, lots of sports. Now graduation, so South High and East High and Central High School, they're all going to have theirs. Triumph has theirs. The colleges already had theirs, so that's lots of change. Closing a chapter and opening a new. We have 7 seniors. 7 REMAX agents with us have seniors, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
It means we have a lot of parties to go to.
A lot of parties, a lot of change for those parents.
Several of them, it's their youngest, which will be us next year, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. Well, I do, but I don't need to start thinking about it yet. So anyway, we wish everyone out there that has a graduate the very best and have a great party, and I think the weather is supposed to be better than it was last weekend, so that's great. And also, we were notified that we are a finalist for the large business category for the Greater Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. So we just want to say thank you so much for that.
For sure.
It's very important for us to give back to our community. And we love the chamber. You're on the board.
I'm on the board. I think the chamber is a great entity and a group to be a part of. So if you're not a member of the chamber, you should check into it. The positive part about it is it's just so... it's such a powerful tool for our community to be able to leverage some of the voices of all the business leaders and business owners here in Cheyenne, and it's been a very strong voice, and it's an important voice. And so, and we also include a ton with the military. So the chamber is very strong. It's very healthy in Cheyenne. And if you want more details on that, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about membership and becoming a member of the chamber. But it has truly been a big part of our business. It's become a big part of our lives, and just helping out the whole community, really. I say business community a lot, but it really deals with the entire community. So
I know that in a real estate brokerage, we sell homes. Like, that's what we do. We are in the real estate business, but we don't have any real estate business if we don't have a strong economy. Yeah. So we have to have a strong economy, which comes from business, which comes from the military, which comes from the government we have here. And so I love that our chamber membership is a big part of that. The chamber membership also supports the military, and making sure that the best military solutions occur, and so we're grateful for.
Yeah, I mean, the military. The Air National Guard has been pushing to renew their aircraft here with the Air National Guard, and those are called C-130J models, the J's, and that was announced about a month and a half ago that they're getting these planes swapped out with these J's, which the biggest part of that is the longevity and the continuation of the mission of the Air National Guard here. So that's good for our community, and we need those. We needed those to be in here so they don't look at these old planes and this old base to wipe it out and say we don't need it. We now have C-130Js coming in. Those should be coming in first part of next year, January, February, March sometime.
That'll be fun.
And a little bit different look. No, I mean, about the same look. You'll be able to tell a couple differences, but.
And the helicopters. I've been hearing a lot of helicopters and seeing. Didn't we get something to do with helicopters? Is there any change to the helicopters?
I don't know about that.
Well, I think maybe Johnny Galbert talked about it at the chamber luncheon.
Oh, he did mention that, yeah.
So we'll touch base. We'll find out. We'll find out about the helicopters. But anyway, we're just very grateful for the nomination and to be a finalist for large business for the chamber. So thank you very much. That banquet is on June 27th. So if you'd like to attend, I know you can reach out to the chamber, and I just saw today on their Facebook that they have the event linked, so you can get all the details for it. But June 27th will be the chamber's annual banquet, and again, thank you very much for the nomination for large business. We appreciate that. So what are you seeing for buyers?
I think we have a lot of buyers that are starting slowly, kind of getting off the fence and stirring up. I think we have, I talked to the agents. They have a lot of folks that are wanting to buy. There's just a motivation level just isn't quite high enough with the combination of a little bit higher rates, a little bit of unknown economy-wise, just to some expense. It's expensive right now,
Yeah.
And so I think that just holds people back a little bit. And so overall, though, I think we still have great activity in our market.
Right. Well, that is really good too. The other thing I wanted to just continue on the whole grateful idea is we received this week from REMAX LLC a big award. It's glass. It's almost shaped like a teardrop. And it's beautiful, and it's for the President's Award. And so Steve was awarded that, and it is the whole brokerage, actually, because he wouldn't have that if it weren't for all the agents here. And we have such great agents with integrity. They love what they do. They serve people. They're just really conscientious at what they're doing. And so it's the President's Award, but it recognizes top performing real estate agents and the leaders in their brokerages. So very appreciative to receive that. And so I just know that you can have confidence if you are looking for help for your real estate guidance, whether you're buying, selling, or both, or real estate investing, or wanting to buy some land. You can trust it when you call a REMAX agent. We were voted #1 most trusted real estate agents again around the United States and Canada for REMAX agents, so that's a wonderful feeling. And also Best of the Best 2024, our office was awarded. And so I say that because I'm grateful, but I say it also to just give you confidence when you are searching for who you want to work with. Interview some people, but give us a call. We would appreciate that, and just very thankful for the recognition. So.
For sure. That award, it's shaped like a teardrop, and I told everyone, it's like, these are all the tears of everyone that, the agents and the brokers and the staff here at the office.
The buyers and the sellers.
Oh,
and
lots
people.
of tears sometimes.
But tears of joy.
Well,
there's tears of joy.
Yeah.
Too.
But it's a really cool achievement, a really cool award to receive. So that was great. Thank you.
Right.
And we couldn't do it without our staff too, which is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And our agents are able to do so much extra and extra time with clients and to leverage the staff. So it's been a real team effort.
Right. It's been great.
For sure.
So what about when someone is ready to sell their home? What would you say the top 3 things they need to do?
Oh, top 3 things. You're just going off the hip here, throwing new things at me just to see what I can say, huh?
Well, hopefully you can.
Well, so the big one is, you got to reach out to an agent, preferably a REMAX agent, because you're going to need some guidance and you're going to need an advocate for you to go through that process, because, you may change your oil in your car every 3 months, maybe, and you may do different things in your house quite often, but you don't sell your house all the time. And so things are constantly changing, and there's a huge benefit to having someone help you get through that where you don't know what you're doing necessarily. So reach out. But, as far as a standpoint of your home, the biggest thing in my mind, especially this time of year, is like curb appeal. It really has to pop and put a lot of effort into the way your house looks when you first pull up. I mean, if I pull up to show a property and there are weeds all over and you got kids' toys and things laying all over the place, it's just not the best first impression of a house. So you got to spend some time to clean that up and make it wow, or really pop when you first walk up to the property. So that's a big thing. Then inside, the best thing is going to be just to declutter. And these things are relatively free. So if you can physically do it, they're free. I mean, declutter, get rid of everything, get it off your counters. We start to live in a way where you start having, you start looking at your countertops and you have a toaster. You've got what are the ovens called now? They're real popular. I don't like to use it too much.
Air fryer.
Air fryer. You got paper towel rolls. I mean, all these different canisters, utensils. They're all over the place. Those things just kind of look cluttered. So get all that stuff off your kitchen. Declutter the property. Get it as clean and.
Well, I've got a college kid home right now.
Oh yeah. Don't rely on them to
talk about
declutter.
anybody out there in the audience who can relate to their college kid coming home, and then suddenly you have a whole new level.
This is a totally different tangent. And I'll have to post the picture in the chain here on the thread. Richard was home for literally not even an hour, and I walked by the counter, and the Rice Krispies box is sitting on the counter, and it looked like some sort of wild animal got into the top of it, and it was ripped open, and there were Rice Krispies everywhere, and it's like, who does this?
I know.
Where does it come from? Anyway, I'll post a picture because I saved it.
Yeah. It's a whole new level. You were just talking about clutter, and it made me think of, like, other people can relate, like that whole, tell me you have a teenager at home or a college student home without telling me you have a college student at home. Mm-hmm. I know we're not alone in that. But so clean up the clutter is what you're saying. Declutter.
And then you really need to have an agent and a company working for you that has some direction, some intent, and a purpose of why they're working for you. Mm-hmm. You need a pricing strategy. You need a marketing strategy. You can't just wing it, especially in this market. I mean, 3 years ago, it was 2021, 2022, first part of 2022. Throw it on the multi-list and just kind of wait and see. You're going to have 15 showings and an incredible amount of offers. Mm-hmm. That market is gone and it's no longer here, and you can't expect that to be here. So you have to have some intent and direction and a strategy of what you're going to do. So make sure you're choosing an agent and a company that's going to work for you with those talents and with those tools to get you through it.
And here at REMAX Capitol Properties, we've had the lowest days on the market for our listings for the last 10 years. And so I think that's wonderful. It's wonderful for our sellers. What does that mean for them? Maybe one less house payment, less stress of trying to keep their house uncluttered to have showings and things like that. But, those don't come from luck. Those kind of stats, they're not from luck. They're from very intentful agents that help you prepare for the successful under contracts. No one can create buyers, but we can start you out on the right foot to have the very best situation going into it.
Right.
So that starts.
As we were talking about transactions, it's real interesting right now. There are the national average right now is 20% of the transactions are falling out of contract.
Oh,
and
that's a lot.
20% is a really big number, and now I don't know if that's necessarily true here. However, I just had one that fell out of contract, and you try to do everything you can and be innovative and come up with ideas of how to keep it together. But this was, a 20% number is very large, and so I started to think, what are the real key factors? What's the hardest part of selling? Mm-hmm. And I really don't think it's negotiating. I really enjoy that part of it. The pricing strategies, all those things are really great, and I don't think that's the hard part. The hard part, I really broke them down into 3 things, and that would be expectations, emotions, and your perspective. And what I mean by first with expectations are, let's say you're driving your car around and you notice that maybe the back right window doesn't work anymore. The button, you push the button, it doesn't work, and you're like, it doesn't work, I'll roll down the other 3, right? So you kind of live with it. Well, your home's the same way. There are a lot of things you have going on in your home and you just live with it. We've had we have a few things where you just kind of live with it. So just know that when a buyer comes in and they have some inspections, they don't have that expectation or know the history of, I've just been living with it that long, it should be fine. I've lived with it, they should be able to live with it. But that's not the right expectation, really. So that's a problem, our expectations. And then emotions are pretty self-explanatory, but you dump a lot of time and usually money into your property. And that's it can become offensive when you have a buyer that's done a bunch of inspections and they say, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. It becomes emotional, and you're like, you know what?
You're like,
yeah, it's like, that's not right. So emotions, you have to really look at it from a business perspective and look at it from a numbers standpoint. And I know that can be hard, and it's very human nature to become emotional, especially if I can't even imagine. We've been in our home now 22 years?
21 almost years. 22 years.
So, boy, you talk about if you ever sell that home, you got a lot of memories and a lot of emotions built up into that. So it's hard, but you do have to step back and try to take those emotions out of the process of it. And then perspective, and what I want to talk about on perspective is, I have a buyer that's moving here from California. He's military. He's going to be out at F.E. Warren. And so we've done everything like video, FaceTime. That's how I showed it. they have not been in the house. And so the perspective is, if you want to put yourself in the buyer's situation sometimes to think they're not trying to be really hard-nosed about trying to get some of these things fixed and that. They're just taking the information they have or can receive and to move forward with that. So the perspective is you need to sometimes put yourself in the other person's shoes to get through the process. And so there you have expectations, emotions, and perspective were my 3 things that are hard. And that's during that due diligence period when you're doing inspections and the objection part of that to a home.
The emotions part is interesting. And then we haven't purchased a property in a while, and especially anything outside of Cheyenne. So that FaceTime tour we did on that home in Aberdeen, it was really fascinating, but you still couldn't touch it, feel it, really
smell it. You can't smell it. I'm always trying to smell.
Check everything out.
Yeah.
And so when you have someone you can trust and get to ask those questions too, and it's really very interesting on the perspective part, and then the emotion part, so we moved in our house 21 years ago, and Elizabeth was 1. And then we had all the other kids. So that would be a very emotional change.
For sure.
So I can very much relate to that. But anyway, again, we are here today live from REMAX Capitol Properties. I say we came to you live because we're going to check out now. But if you have any questions, please reach out to us. And again, thank you very much for watching and for trusting us with your real estate. Bye.
See you later.